Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Reptile. We're off to a bad start. Welcome back to the Reptile podcast. Another Thursday evening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the time out to be here with us. Couldn't be here last week. Was a bit under the weather, but happy to be back this week. We've got, as you guys have seen, we've shared it on the socials and everything. We've got DJ from Reptile for Centuries up this week. So, really excited to have him on the show and just pick his brain a little bit. As always, make sure you guys hit the comment section if you guys have any questions for DJ. If you like the videos, please give us a like and a subscribe. And then let's bring in our other friend over here, Mr. Gavin.
Yo, how's it going, guys? What's up?
How you doing, bud?
All right on your side, man.
I just stumbled in and I couldn't speak 2 words. I think that week that I was away, is like I'm new to this.
Yo, with the reptile or whatever you called it now, that was fantastic.
I don't know what that was. I wish I could edit it and start over, but it's fine.
So
exciting guest that we have on this week. I know a lot of people have reached out and asked us to have him on the show, so we are really really excited to have him and pick his brain a little bit.
Yeah, we'll hopefully learn a little bit of stuff tonight. So let's give it a go.
So without further ado, let's bring in DJ from Reptiles.
How's it, guys?
Yo, what's
up?
How
you guys doing tonight? No, I'm alright, and you guys? All good on your side?
Yeah, can't complain. We're in Cape Town, so we can't complain.
How's the weather looking at you guys' side? Is it getting hotter? I know, it's starting to change seasons here, eh?
Yeah, it's starting here too. It's a bit on the cooler side tonight. Windy as always, but summer's starting relatively soon now. Hopefully.
Okay, then that's cool. I need to come and visit you guys quite soon. It's a long time since I've been in Cape Town, eh?
Yeah, and you come here now, you'll figure out that you'll rather stay in Cape Town than in Joburg. Much better.
Yeah, I heard, I heard Cape Town is quite a quite nice scenery and a nice region to stay in. So I'll definitely make sure to come and visit you guys and get you guys definitely.
And the best part is all our stuff works.
Not like unfortunately, we've got we're exposed to a lot of different kinds of problems, load shedding. We've got it all. Man.
Yeah.
And the good thing about Cape Town is no matter where you live, you only about 30 minminutes away from the airport. So if you need to go pick snakes up or drop snakes off, it's around the corner.
It's a very quick access. That's good. And I know you guys also got the Cape Nature on that side. I know there was a problem with the permits and stuff at the time. How was that situation at the time?
It's still hectic, but the thing is, if you just do it the right way, there's no problem.
Yeah.
I mean, you get we've got exemption permits now. I mean, I can sell. It used to be that we have people come and look at your snakes, say they want it, then you apply for the permits, and anywhere a week to 6 months later, you get a permit. Now, in my case, I've got an exemption for ball pythons, so you can come to my house, see what you like, and take it straight away, and then.
Okay, that's quite cool. It's just a basic, like an open permit in a sense.
Exactly. So we can do business. We can do business like you guys do, but we just have to fill in a little bit of extra paperwork now, which is it's literally one little thing you fill in and you send it in when you renew your captivity permit every 2 years. So it's really not an issue.
I think it's also good to have some sort of, not control over it, but it's still good, to make sure that all of the permits and stuff are in place, So I think, especially with the problem of the invasive species, not necessarily here in South Africa, but I think, worldwide, it's going to become more like a regulation in a sense, to have certain paperwork and stuff in place. also to protect yourself, in a sense.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Sure.
Yeah, they've definitely stepped up, and it's allowing more people to come into the hobby now, because people were I almost want to say they were fearing Cape Nature in a sense of the whole permit system and that, but because of new things that they've brought in and the ways that they've made it easier, and the whole permitting system is online pretty much now, so you don't even have to go to the offices or anything anymore. It's becomes a lot easier. So people are
process,
we definitely seeing a increase in people. I mean, even at the expos, and that the amount of people coming and inquiring how to buy animals and how to get started is a lot. So we definitely
and that's
a step in the right direction.
That's very important. And it's very important, especially with the weekend, the expo that passed this weekend. I saw there's still a lot of people that's unsure, or not unsure, but they don't really know a lot about what we're doing and the hobby itself. So I think it's good to have that that exposure. Even with this podcast, just doing different kinds of social media, or just interaction, with the people, just to also educate, and also actually show them, because I think especially I'm Afrikaans, so especially in the Afrikaans community, a lot of people are still afraid of snakes. They've got a misperception in the sense of where they they've got a misperception. So I think if you can actually show them and persuade them in a sense of showcasing the animals are actually different to what they think, I think it could be very beneficial for for all of us in the future as well.
No, for sure.
No, absolutely. And that's what one of the reasons why we do the expos down here is to get that stigma away, that animal or the snakes are bad, or that they're evil. Yes, there is snakes that are dangerous, but the general conception and everything around them, I can't talk tonight. I don't know what the hell is wrong.
No problem, man.
And more and more people, more and more people are becoming relaxed and seeing that
more open
they
to
can
it,
actually keep
they
can keep a snake as a pet. It's not something that they need to fear anymore. And if they can come to the expos and do that, that makes it rewarding for us.
No, definitely. And I mean, like you said, it's actually, if you think about it, if you compare a snake or any reptile in general, but let's say if you focus on a snake and you compare it to any mammal species or anything like that, they're quite simple to keep. They're not very hard maintenance. The only thing is what you could contemplate, or whatever, is like the electricity. That's the only thing. And I mean, further than that, I mean, it's not such a high expense. I mean, if you keep 1 or 2 animals, it's not gonna break the bank. At the end of the day, if you look, it's easier. If you go on holidays and stuff like that, it's much easier to look after the animal and stuff like
that. It's easier to look after than a dog or a cat by a mile.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, exactly.
So DJ, so tell us. I mean, I think pretty much everyone knows who you are, but tell us a little bit about yourself for some of the new people that don't know you as well as we do.
Yeah, so I'm DJ. So I stay in Pretoria. I'm actually still quite young. I'm only 20 years of age, but I'm in my second year. I'm still studying. I'm saying always I study part-time and I do snakes full-time. So I'm still trying to study. Trying very hard to study. But so I'm second year, and the snakes, I've been keeping snakes just majority of my lifetime. My first reptile was a bearded dragon, and I got that at the age of 5 years old. And after that, I think a year later, I got my first pair of corn snakes. And my passion has never stopped. It's always grew exponentially, and I must say it's a never-ending thing. If I see myself again, I always say I won't buy a pair of socks, but I'll buy any type of snake. If I can afford it, I'll try and purchase it. So the snakes are awesome. I really do enjoy them, and it's fantastic actually to see the community we're trying to build, and everyone trying to Gavin, you know as well, and Keith as well. When we started off, it was more just a closed hobby, and I think since then everyone's become more open and trying to, you know, help everyone out and trying everyone. I mean, there's a lot of room in the hobby itself, you know. So yeah, but I mean, further than that, it's great, you know. The snakes, I've been doing, like I said, since 5 years of age. I've never stopped with the reptiles, and yeah, my passion has grew into you know, quite a business, you know, and it's quite cool. I must say, it's I really do enjoy it. Eh?
I see. When I first met you all those years ago, I mean, you were doing, I think, green tree pythons also, and hognose,
Yeah.
and I think corns, and a few other odds and ends.
Yeah.
Now you're just strictly on ball pythons, right?
The ball pythons. Yeah. So you know, when I was younger, I still have a few animals as pets. You know, I still have a Burmese python. I've had her for 13 years. You know, she's just shy of 55 meters. You know, so I've had her for you know, quite some time. So you know, I still have my few odds and ends pets, what I classify as, you know, just animals I keep as pets. But yeah, majority of my collection now is based on the ball pythons. You know, I've seen over the years, you know, I've worked with the green tree pythons, the hognose, whatever. But my passion, or my real passion, actually lies with the ball pythons itself. You know, just because they're so fascinating. They've got so many color variations and genetic mutations. You know, it's that's also what really excites me. You know, to make new combinations. You know, it's a very cool thing as well.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of how a lot of people started. I mean, I started the same. I had probably 10 different species at the same time, and now I've kind of gone only the last few years, you know, just towards the ball pythons, and then I still have other stuff also. But I was saying on the podcast last week, I've actually started with scaleless corns now. So next year I should have some scaleless stuff, which will be cool.
Yeah, that's very nice. Yeah, I've got still a few hognose, and I've got one scaleless corn snake as well. You know, I've got the Cape File Pair snakes from Rolf Dennison from Ultimate Exotics. Those are extremely awesome animals.
They're very cool.
It's been actually a dream animal for myself to get. So yeah, it's taken some years, but finally I've got a pair of them. And yeah, you know, further than that, I've got a rhino iguana. I've got a few different species just to, you know, also, like you said, I like to keep a few species just to interact with them as well. Eh?
Yeah. No, for sure.
Those Cape File snakes are a bucket list item for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah. Yes, no, they're amazing animals. They're beautiful animals. I must say, probably one of my favorite snakes we've got in the collection now.
I mean, you're sitting with amazing ball pythons, which everybody knows about, and it's funny that you say that those are actually.
You know, it's all. You know, I've got a few animals that are just. You know, even though I've got a few, I can say, like, amazing animals, but there's still a few that I can say without a doubt my favorites. You know, one of the Burmese is one of my original pied ball pythons. I remember I think I got it in 2012 from Brendan Fenter's, one of Brendan Fenter's shipments. You know, so that was also quite some time ago. You know, I still have the original Pastel Batman male, Bruce Wayne, what I called him. You know, those animals are till the date, you know, still some of my favorite animals, you know, and I don't think I'll sell them ever. They're just too much work for myself.
Yeah. No, we've all got those things. I also got like 4 or 5 and bumblebees. Even I've got a straight pastel female that I'll never ever sell. Just stuff that keep in the racks and won't breed with them. But
exactly, just something nice to have as well. You know, it's cool to have 1 or 2 animals as, how can you say, just as pets as well. You know, even though you've got you know, like with myself, I've got a larger collection, but it's still, you know, you must still enjoy the animals. That's the most important part, you know. So
you say you got a larger collection, roughly ball python wise, 100, 200,000, 10,000.
No, luckily not 10,000 or 1,000. So currently, you know, in my personal collection, this is including, you know, holdbacks and breeder stock and whatever, currently is around 400 I'd say 400 animals. That's ball pythons. And then other snake species, I'd say, is another 20 to 50. So, you know, the thing is, because it varies around a lot quite through the year. So at the end of next year, beginning of next year, I should have around in the collection itself around 1,200 animals. You know, we're expecting quite a big season. You know, last year, the last 2 seasons, we've bred just over 500 babies each season. You know, it was 76 clutches and 77 clutches. So this year, I think we're going to probably surpass that with about 15 clutches. So it's going to be a good season, you know. And the females, they also, compared to the previous season, you know, they're much larger, you know. So I expect fairly bigger clutches. You know, last year was actually one of my poorest seasons, in the sense of my slug ratio to the viable eggs went from, I think it was from 97% viable eggs to only 93%, you know, and that's quite, you know, quite not bad, but it's a huge drop for myself, you know, especially if you look, you know, if you've got 400 or 500 eggs, you know, it's quite a number. You know, it's not so much, but still it makes a difference.
Can you attribute that to anything or just bad luck?
So yeah, it's actually quite interesting. I actually, how can you say, like, read the certain female behaviors which laid slugs, or you know didn't lay a viable clutch, and so I think it was either with the male copulation, by the male basically not succeeding when breeding or not doing a viable lock. And yeah, so I think that was one of the most, how can you say, I think that's the biggest reason. Just because, you know, certain project, you know, like one of the females were a double-weight exantic pied, you know, and I've only got one exantic pied male. I don't have a backup for that female. So to throw another male in there and you don't know really which male is going to side a clutch, it's a not a waste, but it will just make yourself, it's hard to ID and so forth, you know. So look. Yeah, so I think it's copulation and then definitely temperature. You know, temperature. If your room temperature, especially your room temperature, if your ambient temperature gets too hot, you know, you definitely have some slugs in my opinion.
Yeah. Now you're talking about, you know, the male to back up for a lot of the newer breeders that are watching and will watch later.
Yeah.
How would you recommend going? Especially with something relatively higher end, like a combo, Xantic pied, that type of vibe. Would you look at keeping back 2 visual males for argument's sake, a double het female or a one and a het or whatever? What would your recommendation be for the new people?
Yeah, it depends on where your collection is at. You know, every season I think I've got enough males, and then I actually realized halfway through the season, you know, I should have kept more males back. You know, it's something always like that. So, yeah, I mean, if you can, you know, if you know, like for instance, Desert Ghost Clown, you know, that's a huge project at the time, you know, and it's a project I really also want to, you know, work with, you know. So, for instance, you know, I could use a backup male. For instance, my DG Clown doesn't breed, you know, because in that option, you know, you still, let's say that one male doesn't, you know, start breeding, you still have another male in a sense to, you know, back up those females. Every season when I make my breeding plans, I set up my breeding plans where I've got 3 males. I've got a first male, a second male, and a third male. You know, I understand some collections it isn't possible, you know, but as far as possible, just try and do some sort of backup, you know, by making sure either the genes are similar, or, you know, you can either ID it if it comes to the sense where it's a dual side clutch or something like that, you know. So as far as possible, just try and, how can you say, back up your females, get an extra male, or, you know, something that will work with your project. So definitely.
Definitely makes sense, yeah.
There's a question that came in from Ruan. I'll just, as we go through, DJ, I'll just throw these in because I see the chat is quite busy and I don't want to get lost in with the questions. He asked, what's your most anticipated clutches this season, and did you do any VPI Xanthic projects this season?
Okay, so VPI, no, unfortunately, I don't have any projects this coming season. Hopefully next season. I bought 2 female blackhead Xanthics from Dwayne Berger at Mutation Domination. So those females hopefully will be next year ready up to size. But until then, you know, this season only black Xanthics. Very few MJ line Xanthic projects as well. I've got the 2 only fire double head Xanthic pied. MJ line females, but unfortunately they're a bit on the slower side in the sense of feeding, and growing. So it's a real 50-50 if they will go this season. And most anticipated clutch, yes, it's hard. Every single one. It's everyone has got a different outcome, but I would say there's a couple of from the Stranger project and some confusion stuff as well. Hopefully, some confusion Desert Ghost, and so a lot of projects. It's very hard to say which one. But I've got a new animal as well that we bought or we purchased from the States, and in the new YouTube video I'll unveil the animal. It's a quite a new recessive project, so I think that's also probably one of the most anticipated clutches for these seasons. For this season,
that's going to be cool. Oh, we'll definitely keep an eye out for that. Interesting. I assume we can't twist your arm into telling us, so we'll have to wait, I suppose.
Yeah,
so I think we'll ask the people in the comments that they can guess. I'm sure somebody. Yeah. I've got a pretty good idea of what it is, but I won't say. So
No, it's not a secret. It's not a secret, but it's just the YouTube video is coming out soon, so I just want to keep it as some anticipation for the next video at least. So, but it's a very cool project. Definitely well worth it.
Sorry, there was a comment that came through earlier from Luke. He said, evening DJ, huge respect for what you do, especially with importing of new morphs from the Canova and such, giving us in SA a chance to acquire these collections. Keep up the great work.
No, thank you, Luke. I do appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. DJ, so before we started with the podcast, we chatted a bit. And one of the things that we wanted to talk to you about was collection building, specifically for, that doesn't necessarily have to be for guys that are just starting out now, but even for people that have collections at the moment, what kind of advice would you give people on collection building?
Yeah, so I actually recently spoke to someone as well about it. So I feel there's a couple of different directions, you can go into it. I understand, unfortunately, there's also, I understand there's different projects you guys can go into, and there's certain budgets also, certain people work with, So I think the best way would be is to, build your collection up with females. If you, at the end of the day, this is a long time process, to start your collection or building your collection. If you already have got a collection, it's at least a 3-year or 4-year time frame before you're actually seeing even not improvements in your own collection, but you see the quality of the animal starting to get better. So it takes time, So the best way I would say is to build up with either female recessives, purchasing, if you can, fairly clowns, pieds, ultramors, all of those projects are fairly well priced now, So you can pick up hatchling females and you can raise them up. Some females go quicker; they go in 2-3 years. Some take a bit longer. So, and then when you get those females up to size, get either a recessive head male or get a different recessive male that will work with all of those projects. And then, like you said, breed that certain male to those females, produce your own double heads, raise the double heads up, and start from the collection itself there. That's one project. You can also go through and buy double head recessive females from the start. Same thing, grow those females up. And that's, I'd say, at the end of the day, is I think co-dominants are still, especially new co-dominants, there's still high demand for the animals. But I think in the future, definitely if you want to build your collection and also, establish your projects, you definitely need to go into recessive projects.
Yeah. And speaking of your co-doms and that, what do you think at the moment is in your opinion, the main Kunane, the main one going at the moment?
So it's actually a difficult one. I like Confusion and Blackhead. I think Blackhead works extremely well with a lot of projects. Even if you look at a blackhead pastel, it's not an, how can you say, pastel doesn't completely dominate the patterning as well. And confusion is very high patterning. If you look at the interaction between confusion and leopard, that's an amazing interaction just between those two simple co-dominants. What you already can achieve, I feel in the future there's a lot more to do with that. So, and also, like your plain and simple genes, I always say any gene, especially an enhancing gene, orange dream, vanilla, Inchi, you can actually have never enough of those animals, because the supers it's going to reproduce is not going to be a pure white snake. Just not because of that, the identification of the animals will be a lot easier. And, again, it's not a pure white snake, so you can reuse the animal in the future to make different co-dominant animals again.
No, I agree with you about confusion. I think that's the one I think that's going to start taking off in the next, even this season already. I mean, it's taking off quite a lot in South Africa, and next year there's going to be a bit more available. So I think it's going to be
I think from next year. Next year there should be, I think most of the females I sold were in 2021. So, from next year, I think those females will also start producing. I think Ruan and Tyron from Beautiful Snakes will also have clutches this season. So I think it's going to be an awesome, going to be cool to see what they produce as well. Their collections are totally different from mine again, so it'll be cool to see which direction they take the project, and hopefully we can exchange some animals as well.
I think if anybody has to ask me now a gene to invest in for the next 5 years, I would definitely say blackhead. The stuff that people are making with blackhead is, I think, and like Ozzy was saying in I think at the thing on Instagram, he was saying people are just scratching the surface when it comes to the blackhead stuff now, mixing it with clown and puzzle and azanthic. Every recessive that he's put it into and that he's seen, it just works. So that's definitely a gene to work on.
No, definitely. I mean, if you look, blackhead clowns or just blackhead clown, plain blackhead clown is probably one of the best, interactions. Co-dominant gene, so it's definitely a cool gene to work with.
Yeah, and it's like you said earlier, if you're working with a super, it's just going to benefit you in whatever you do. It doesn't have neurological issues like with the black pastel and your cinnamons and things like that. So it's I can't wait to see.
The different, I think, another cool gene is definitely mahogany, and then of course Nyala. I think those two genes has got a very cool interaction as well, especially in clown. I mean, the Nyala clowns are fantastic. I mean, Russ in them, they've put some, I think they produced a Nyala banana clown. I think that's probably one of the best banana clown combos I have seen. That thing it's incredible. So I think those combos in the future also to, take that into, for instance, Desert Ghost, I think will be interesting as well, to get the dark contrast animals into different color spectrums, Ultramore, Desert Ghost, and those things there.
Yeah, that'll be quite cool.
I think there's another comment from Will. Sorry, Gavin. I jumped on the lace train recently. Can't wait to grow her up and get it into puzzle. The lace gene as well. I think that's pleasantly surprised a lot of people. And people are just running around everywhere now trying to get their hands on lace.
Lace, no, lace is awesome, I must say. Warwick from Strictly Snakes, myself and him, we did a collab, I think, last season, with his Inchi lace head clown, and I bred him to a couple of my females. And I must say, lace is amazing. So what I've seen is they basically almost like a co-dominant Desert Ghost, in a sense of where they actually color up as they age. After the first shed or a couple of sheds, you can't really ID the lace so well, but once they start to color up, you can see it quite clearly. So I think lace. I've got actually lace head puzzles. So I've got an Inchi lace head puzzle male, and you shouldn't be in rotation next season. I think I think white lace puzzle is almost going to be better than your Desert Ghost puzzle, in my opinion. Well, I hope so. I think it's going to be an incredible animal.
Only one way to find out, I suppose.
Exactly, but I think already Will Morose from Royal Canadian Reptiles, I think he should actually produce. He's got a chance of reproducing, I think, a white lace puzzle. So I think that'll be interesting to see it. Definitely interesting.
No, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. If you look at, I think it was Ozzy that posted a lace combo the other day, and I was thinking, if you could choose, like DJ was saying now with the lace and the Desert Ghost, I would actually like to see Gene X getting in the mix with lace and Desert Ghost. If you do like a lace Gene X Desert Ghost, I think that'll probably be one of the brightest snakes ever made.
I think so as well. I think another interesting thing would be like to get, I don't know, lace and I don't know if you guys seen Mandarin and Trojan. It's also a very cool project. I think it'll be interesting to see how those two genes actually lace and let's say Mandarin, because there's two different color spectrums. To see how they actually interact with each other. And maybe they, it forms a combination we haven't seen. I think with the ball palmers, the possibilities are so endless. I don't think you really can you can say what the outcome will be until you physically hatch it out.
They say the only limitations to what you can make is your imagination. So.
No, exactly. I mean, this is literally the ultimate snake I'd really want to produce is a ball python looking similar to your Kaboon adders.
That'd be pretty sick. That'd be pretty sick.
So, that will be an ultimate goal. If I can produce something that looks similar to that, I think that will be cool. Because Kaboon Viper is also so incredible, but I don't know. I don't think I'm ready for the venomous animals yet. I first need to gain more experience as well.
It's not that hard.
Yeah, Gavin, you've got some good.
Yeah, I got a couple.
Yeah, that's. Rather later maybe.
Yeah, I was looking at a picture here that I actually sent Keith the other day. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone knows me and my opinions on clown, but I sent him a really nice picture of a pastel DG clown. Pastel DG clown pied. Sorry. I was looking at it again now, and that is. I don't know if you saw that. I can't remember who it was that actually posted it.
I think it's Capital Reptiles, really.
Yeah, I think I'm looking. Yeah, I'm looking at their logo. Yeah, Capital Reptiles. Yeah, but that was. Yeah. I actually really, really like that.
Incredible animal. I'll send you a picture after the podcast of an Ultramore DG pied. That's also quite an interesting combo.
Oh wow!
Mm-hmm. I think this is just like the one-time pastel actually works well with clown, to be honest.
Yeah, but especially in DG, pastel and DG works incredibly well. I must say, it's probably I actually prefer some combos in Desert Ghost with pastel in it, just because it's so vibrant. Desert Ghost got a very soft coloration. As soon as you add pastel in it, gets very vibrant. So it's quite cool, I must say.
I remember I was talking. I don't know if it was with you, Gavin, or one of the guys, and I said a few years back when Con was busy exiting the hobby, he posted I think it was a pastel head Desert Ghost male and a visual female on Morph Market, and I think the price was like 7,000 or 8,000 rand back then. And I saw this, and I'm like, nobody's ever gonna pay that, man. It's too much money. And just looking now at where Desert Ghost is and how in demand it is, just think if you just took the gamble back then, because I think this was like 5 years ago, 5-6 years ago. Desert Ghost wasn't in the market yet, so it's crazy how far it's come.
6 years ago, if you could find a Desert Ghost hatchling, it was 20 grand, male or female. If you could find one, 20-25K, and that was on the lower spectrum. There was some that were going for a lot more, especially down this side.
Yeah, I know Con sold the first pairs. I think he sold the original Desert Ghost I bought to, I think also 2015, 2014. It was a DG male and a head DG female. And I think they were around 18 to 20K, like you say, Gavin. Yeah, so but still, I mean, every penny worth. I think just back then, you know, people were very, they would, like, how can you say, because desert and desert ghosts were there. I think even myself, you know, I was very scared.
They were skeptical. They were very skeptical about it.
Yeah, I was reluctant until, you know, there were further information about the Desert Ghost project, you know. So, but yeah, like Keith said, you know, that could have been a bargain back then, and still to today, I think, you know, if you can pick that up, you must take a couple of them. You know, that's definitely well worth it. Eh?
But that was also at the start of the clown craze when the clown really just started coming out. So people were kind of overlooking the whole Desert Ghost thing.
Desert Ghost.
Yeah. But
the clown patterns. The clown pattern that was just like where Desert Ghost. I mean, if you don't know what you're looking at, to most people, a Desert Ghost is a very bright normal. If you don't know what if a single gene one is, but a clown was just something. It's like why Pied was so popular. It's just looking at it, it's just something so different.
So much different. Yeah, I think it's more, you know, still a date, you know, I think it pulls the most guys, especially the newer guys' attention, is definitely the Pied. You know, still my favorite single gene animal. Exactly. My favorite animal still, I think, is a plain Pied. You know, over the years I saw the pewter pies, I saw the pastel pies, but I kept my plain Pieds because they're actually the best, I can say, example of a Pied in my opinion, you know.
I do that. I mean, Keith knows I do that. I breed quite a bit of Pieds, and I generally keep one or two combos here and there, but I keep at least every season 1 or 2 normal Pied females back.
Okay.
So I've been
nice. You can't go wrong.
I've been stockpiling now. I mean, I've got about in next year, I think, or 2024, I'll have about 11 breeder Pied females.
Oh, right. Nice. That's very good.
Which is going to be quite nice. Then just get like 2 good males, and then I'm set again. Well, I've got 1 good male already.
So. Yeah. I know you've also got those 2 OD Pied females. I remember when you hatched out those animals. I think it was like 2016, eh? It was quite some time ago.
No, it was 2018, I think. 2017, 18,
2018. Oh, okay.
I think so.
But still, you know, those are. I must say, OD Pieds, they actually keep their coloration quite good as they mature.
Yeah. My 2 females are still really, really bright. And I've got the OD Firefly, I think he's Enchi also, Pied male that I'm growing up. So.
Yeah, you should send me some pics. Maybe I can take a look at him as well.
Yeah, no, I wasn't too sure about the OD, but I spoke a bit with Ozzy and Justin, and they reckon it's got OD. Okay. And then Ozzy said that Ozzy reckons it's got Enchi also.
Enchi as well. Okay, very nice. Yeah, well, that's a very powerful male. You know, that's I mean, you can use that male to make super ODs.
That's definitely the plan. And then next year, my Fire Pied female should also be up to size. So
nice.
I could chuck that in there also.
Very nice.
The best Pied is all, like DJ said, is just the straight Pied.
Yeah, no, 100%. Normal Pieds are amazing.
I know, Keith. Yeah, Keith, you're not the biggest fan of Pieds yourself, eh? If I'm correct. Or did I?
I'm not a fan of it because I cannot ID it. I sometimes look at Pied combos and then I think, well, is that just a regular Pied? Is it something else? You know, and I like looking at them, but for me, a normal Pied is 50% white, or you know, that is perfect. Clowns, clowns. No, I don't like clowns.
No, not like clowns. Not for you. Eh?
And I know I'm gonna get slaughtered in the comments by people for saying that I don't like them, but I just, as hatchlings, they're probably the most amazing things you'll ever see. But a Pied still looks good at 1 kilogram, where a pastel clown is probably a bad example, but it's just the coloration.
I think certain combinations, you know, what I've seen is, you know, sometimes more is less, you know. So I think that's, you know, like I said, you know, plain blackhead clowns, those animals are amazing. You know? So I think there's certain combinations with Pied as well. You know, cinnamon and Pied, in my opinion, doesn't work well. Black pastel and Pied, just because they completely remove almost all of the patterning, you know. And my perfect Pied is an equal amount of white to patterning, you know, like almost like a 50-50 split, you know. So or more patterning. Even a lower white part is more appealing than a higher white part, in my opinion. So I think it's personal preference. That's a good thing about ball pythons. They offer everything. If you don't like clowns, there's the desert ghost, there's the ultramals, there's so many different snakes. There's so many different color variations and morphs. So that's a good thing about ball pythons, especially.
Doug says. Very true. Very true.
Yeah,
that's true. That's very true.
Yeah, no, I like the lavender stuff. I've really grown on the lavender stuff. Has grown on to me now.
Okay.
Especially the grail stuff. I mean, I saw. I think it was a spot nose grail, a picture of it the other day, and I think that project is got so much potential. And I know you also pushing quite hard on the grail stuff. So yeah. If there's anything, what I would work clowns into, it would only be the lavender stuff.
Lavenders, eh? Yeah. So I've got the grails. I'm trying to the lavender project. I'm trying to actually push the ultramar project a bit more. Just because I prefer the coloration of the ultramar, over the lavender. But the grail project, the dreamsicle, and of course then the holy grail to combine all the dreamsicle and the grail itself. So I've had the opportunity to produce the grails, holy grails, but I've missed the opportunity or missed the chances. So this season I've got one or two clutches coming for those, but my lavender project's actually been slowed down this last couple of seasons. The females, most of my females actually skipped the last couple of seasons, so it's been slow. But hopefully in a couple of just by building up some good heads and keeping back the right animals, I think in the future we can get some nice grail animals out as well.
That'd be awesome, man.
There's a question that came in from Conrad. While on the albinism subject, what's your opinion on candy?
Sorry, just called him Conrad. I'm sorry. That was funny. That was very funny.
That's Afrikaans, man. Come on.
I'm in the biking. I'm in the biking industry, dude. A Conrad is a very different thing. Sorry.
Wow, Dutchman.
I used to have candy, but I just decided. So candy is still very. If I could have started over, probably I would have chosen candy and ultramar, or candy and monarch perhaps, or whatever. But I just chose at a time. I can't be doing albino, lavender albino, candy, ultramar. It's just a few. It's too many. Sorry, it's just too many. So I rather decided to work with the project that were the most, I could say, established at that time. So in my opinion on candy, I still believe it's a great gene. I feel actually the lavender combos will be better in the future. The candy combos will be better than the lavender combos in the future. But at the time I don't work with candy at all. But I still believe there's a lot of potential with it.
I suppose you can't work with everything. Yeah?
No. There's unfortunately, it would have been nice, but it's just too many animals. Just too many.
I know for sure.
It would be nice if somebody would bring monarch in, though. I love monarch. I think it was about 4 years ago. I sent Monet of GSR. I sent him a picture of a monarch, and he said to me, "Oh, this is ultramal." I said, "No, it's not." I said to him, "Watch this thing," and it's awesome to see the stuff that they're doing with the monarch. I much prefer that to ultramal.
Yeah, it's very similar, but I think the monarch's got more of a deeper burgundy color, and I think they just mature. I think they just mature nicer. In saying that, I think you can. I think if you do ultramar with like desert ghost and ultramar with like black pastel, like dark genes, you can recreate similar combos then with your monarch. But still monarch, I still believe is. From a coloration aspect, it's much better than your ultramars. Someone should get us a monarch. That would be cool to get monarch into the country.
So we're gonna your new reveal on your YouTube video. What's it gonna be, like a desert ghost monarch clown pied ultramel or something?
Yeah, I think it will be your possible hit for Monsoon as well. Well, I hope so.
Oh, don't
But
spoil it. Now you've just spoiled the whole thing now with monsoons.
no, but yeah, no, it's a new recessive, so it's a very cool project. I think you guys probably know what it is. I'll send you guys a message after the podcast and inform you guys what it is. But I must say it's a very cool project. There's not a lot of new combos being produced with it, so I think it's not Monsoon. I can tell you that now. But it's a very cool project, I must say.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's going to be a long way to see which way you go and what you do with it, but I can tell you it's definitely going to be worth it. DJ, then also, you've come quite a long way in this hobby now over the last couple of years, and you've definitely made an impact and a name for yourself over the years. And a thing that's really great is the export market that is sort of opened up, allowing the guys to get into that side, and that also shows that the South African market is definitely up there. We're not the best in the world, but the guys in South Africa are producing world-class stuff at the moment.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, so I mean, daily there's a lot of guys asking about different projects. They see the guys on Instagram posting, like Monet with his Exantic Desert Ghost stuff. Someone inquired about black Exantic candies. I know Warwick and David Scholes are doing those projects, So I think there's a lot of interest. I think the guys they're starting to see that we're actually also producing, good quality animals and bringing out new combos, which is totally different. I think the animals we produce here is different to what they do in UK, Europe, and even the States. So I think that's good. In the future, I think it's a hobby here locally or market is fairly good, but we definitely need to also try and focus and because it's an international trade. So to trade with other guys in the States and Europe and whatever, it's a cool thing to do because you also grow your own collection at the same time, by either purchasing or trading with them a new animal, and they're receiving new genetics and yourself as well. So it's definitely important to establish some sort of friendships and international partnership with someone, or with just just establishing basic contacts with them.
But I mean, also you built a really good brand. I mean, around your RFC stuff. I mean, with your social media and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I think that's nowadays quite important. Actually, get your name out there. The days of sending a few pictures on WhatsApp now is like, it's kind of over now.
No, I remember the days of SA Reptile Traders. Going and Gumtree. Going through all of the class fields, ORX, and I don't know, whatever, back, I remember when I was still very young and starting to offer, especially with the ball pythons, just to get a normal female was like a gold prize. I remember going into a pet shop, if you just see a normal ball python female, that was amazing, so, and now if you think about it, it's actually very common, it's amazing how the hobby has grown in the last, 10 years or 15 years that I've been also exposed to it, and seeing, what's going on with it. It's actually been incredible to see, especially if you see what the guys are doing overseas, they're doing it, it's a very, I can say, huge industry, and they're building a good community, USA ARC, trying to, establish their own rights and also, defend themselves in possible, future situations that can happen.
What was speaking of the first snake you saw, what was your first ball python you got? Just a normal?
No, it was a normal. Yeah, normal. It was a normal male, eh?
Okay.
Yeah, and then later on I got I just actually purchased my first ball python from Con. My first pair of ball pythons. Yeah, they also came from Con. So And then after that, the first mutation I got was a spider and a pastel male. And then after that, I got a few others. I got the first from the start, it really drew my attention was the pied. So I remember when I saw the pied ball python store, and I think it was at Henry Kemp back in the day store. I just knew that was an animal I want to work with in the future. So. But my first ball pythons were a plain pair of normal ball pythons.
I got my first normal out of, I think it was in like 2000 or 2001. I was still in high school then, and I got it from the zoo of all places. There was no one in Cape Town really that I knew the zoo.
That's very interesting.
The zoo used to sell them.
That's cool. That's very cool, actually.
I had it for about 10 years. I had it more than 10 years.
No, that's incredible. I spoke to a zoo, I think, or I read about a zoo that they had a ball python in Australia. The zoo itself had a ball python for 54 years, or that's how old the snake was. I don't know if they had him themselves for 54 years, but the snake they believe to be 54 years old. That's amazing. To actually think that these animals can live, so long. It's incredible.
I had a red-tailed boa female. She was 23 years old when she died.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah, my buddy had her for 3 years from a neonate, and I had her for 20 years after that.
Oh, really? That's quite cool.
Got a long time.
Yeah. I really hope this Burmese stays for quite some time with myself. It's an incredible animal. It's I say always, you just need to read her personality. Some days she doesn't want to be held, and other days she's very friendly, and at the end of the day, it's a big snake, so I don't want to put myself it's a female, yes.
That's what I'm saying. That's why some days yes, some days no. It's a woman, typical female.
Exactly, exactly, So that's the only thing, that's the only thing. But you just need to read her personality, and if you see she's not in a good mood, then I'd rather leave her and disturb her tomorrow. So I've learned the hard way.
That's quite funny. On all the podcasts we had, except for the one of Joe last week, Con's name has come up in every podcast so far.
Yeah.
He's like one of the legends, and I remember I interviewed him for the Ultimate Exotics magazine on how he got started, and he actually took a bond out on his house. I think it was a 250,000 rand or something. Now, if you go tell your wife you're going to take out a bond on the house to go buy snakes now,
for snakes,
you're probably going to sleep in your car for the next month.
Then you read the situation and you don't hold her.
No, I can imagine. It's crazy what some of the guys go through to buy snakes. It's actually quite funny. But I think Con, most of the guys, with him and with Uncle Rassi, Uncle Rassi's also been, from the start here. I remember as from my first ghost pair, or my first ghost and head ghost, I purchased also from Rassi himself. From the start, Rassi had an incredible collection, and he's been working, especially with the Dinka projects they proved out. He's made a real couple of awesome animals with those projects. So I think Con and Rassi are definitely pioneers, especially in the South African market. And Con's dad as well. I can't just remember his dad's name, but they also definitely pioneers.
I think it was Gerrit or something.
Yeah, they're definitely some pioneers of the ball python industry.
Yeah.
Jean of King Morphs as well. He had an amazing collection of snakes. So
John, and he was an exceptional breeder.
You heading that way as well. You, like Gavin said earlier, you're building business, and not just that, you've built a brand, which is a lot of people these days think it's easy, but to have a facility running like that and being on Facebook and Instagram and all the social media platforms, and what are you studying, by the way?
So I'm doing BCom business management. So yeah, it's just something, you know, like I said, I try and it's a sideline thing, you know. I still focus more on the snakes, you know. If I see myself, I always say, no, this I should actually be better, but I always say, you know, this term I'm going to put more time into the university and whatever. And I spend 99% of my time on the snakes, you know. So yeah, you know, but I must say I still enjoy it. It's cool, you know, especially after COVID, you know, just going back and, you know, seeing different people. It's also fun, you know. I think I got frustrated also sometimes just sitting at the house and, you know, just not being by yourself, but you don't go really out, you know. So I think it's good to get that interaction as well.
My first breed of female that I bought was actually from Wally. I bought I think it was a 3.5 kg Azanthic female.
Yes, okay, nice.
Yeah, I won't say how much I paid for it, but it was a lot of money back then. And I think it was a phantom spider heterozanthic male that I bought from Jean at King Morph's to make the phantom spider xanthics. And it's great to see that Azanthic is. Because it was good, and then it kind of died down, but it's really made its way back again.
It's slowly. Yeah, I think Hypo, Genetic Stripe, and Xantic, I think those projects are definitely sleeper projects, which are, if we look at recessives, I think those projects are definitely going to make a comeback. You know, I still believe we've got the best, especially VPI Xantic combos internationally. You know, if you look, the VPI Xantics we produce, a lot of guys in South Africa, you know, you can't compare those animals to anything they hatch over at the States and stuff. You know, we've got good expression animals. I mean, the Orange Dream stuff Wally and them are producing are amazing, you know. But I think VPI is slowly starting, or not VPI, but Xantic in general, slowly starting to catch up again. I think, I don't know if you guys saw the Puzzle Xantic, and, you know, surely you guys saw the Xantic DGs and stuff like that. Those are incredible combos, you know. So I think definitely in the future, you know, I think you need to, if you go Xantic, you need to go enhancing genes, you know. So Orange Dream, Blackhead's a good gene, but it's also, you need to get Red Stripe or something also into it, just to help maintain the coloration in the near future, you know.
So now I'll ask you a question. Now I don't do any Azanthic stuff, right? I've got one visual female that I kind of just have. And this might be a nice thing to chat about a bit. So it's what is she? She's a butter pastel vanilla Azanthic. I just kind of have her in my racks growing up. In that, obviously she's on the lighter spectrum of coloration as is already. What kind of route would you go there? And don't say clown.
So, no. So she's a butter pastel vanilla Xantic, you say, eh?
Yeah.
So I'd either yet again go for, you know, a male. Let's say, for instance, if you can pick up a Xantic VPI, of course it's VPI, or I assume it's VPI. Let's say a GHI vanilla Xantic or vanilla Xantic male, to put into that female again to produce the super vanilla Xantics. And if you can get a, you know, for instance, GHI would work well as there as well. That's from like a Xantic perspective. You know, you can go leopard as well. But I'd say something that will either bring back more patterning, or of course then go for your super form with the super vanilla Xantics. You know, I think we've seen the vanilla Scream Xantics, they're awesome. But the only thing is, what I've realized now, especially, you know, when you produce with the animals, because when you produce a super vanilla Xantic, you're going to use that animal to make different double hits and stuff, you know. Whereas if you use a vanilla cream Xantic, if you use that animal in the near future, you don't know what is it going to be, fire or vanilla, you know. And I want to spare myself, you know. I've realized as well, and it's you can go quicker to that route, but it's not so beneficial, you know, in the sense of you don't know what, you're not guaranteed of the outcome. So I think either by bringing in more patterning with GHI, or going with, trying to reproduce a super vanilla exotic, I think will be quite interesting if you go, in the exotic route.
Yeah, no, I kind of have to. I was gonna go my favorite. I'll probably end up going the hypo route with her. Make some true ghost combos.
That's also,
I've got some nice males growing up now, so that'll be really around
that's
about the same
also,
time.
I mean, if you have a vanilla hypo,
yeah, that could be pretty awesome, actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think a leopard DG male would work nicely there.
Very good.
Yeah, it could work well as well. The thing is, it just depends on where your collection is heading, what you want to do. If you want to make double heads, then it's beneficial. But if you want to do exantic combos, you can just go forth with the the super vanilla exantics or whatever.
Like I said, for me, like I just kind of have I never really had a route in mind with her other than hypo or pied, because that's what I do.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't want to bring the butter into the pied stuff. Yeah.
Into the pied, yeah. So maybe hypo would work well as well, eh? Definitely.
Yeah. I think I'll probably end up doing that. But I see our UK friend, old Joe, is graced us with his presence for the evening. That's nice of him, finally.
DJ, so where do you see? I mean, you've given the guys in the comments and everybody that's going to be watching this later, you've given them some really good ideas and inspiration for combos and things like that. What do you see happening in the next, say, 2 to 3 years with regards to is everything heading double and triple recessives? Is that where the market is going?
Yeah, so in my opinion, definitely. The thing is, you guys will see, like with co-dominance, unfortunately, we've seen it time and time again. It's just hard to dictate when it's going to happen, but it happens locally, internationally. It's a global trend. Unfortunately, with co-doms, just because they are easier to reproduce, the pricing starts to fall, unfortunately, as they become more regularly available. It's basic market supply and demand. So I think in that thing, and also in the sense of where you with the triple recessives, just because and double recessive in general, they're harder to hatch out, and they've got more. I can say that's where not everyone's heading to, but it's harder to reproduce and it takes more time. I think definitely, we're going to see even quadruple recessives becoming, being produced. So I think now it's definitely double and triple recessives, and in the future it will just go onwards. As soon as you've got the triple recessives, then you need to add something different, add orange dream or Enchi, whatever. So I'll never throw away your co-dominance. I'm not saying get rid of all of your co-dominant genes, but definitely make those double heads. Each and every season I make different double head genes, different combinations, because I know they will help me step up my collection as well. So like I said, don't throw away your co-doms, but if you can, when you get the opportunity, make your double heads and keep the females back and hope for good odds. That's all you can hope for, right?
Yeah. No, when it comes to we've discussed this before. We discussed this before. When it comes to me making double heads, it doesn't work out for Gavin ever.
You don't like making.
No, I like making them, but literally every time I've done it with various combinations and all that kind of stuff, I end up with one female and the rest males. No matter how big or small the clutch is, I end up one female and a whole lot of males every single time. I've done about 3 or 4 pairings over the years, about 4 pairings actually over the years with double head stuff, and I've never got more than one female out of it. It's so frustrating.
Hey man, you just need to try one more time, or just keep on trying, man. That's the best thing, I've got poor luck with clown pieds. I've had over 100 eggs for clown pieds, where the odds are either 1 out of 4, or even 1 out of 4, 1 out of 2.
Sure.
I think it's 1 out of 4, dude. I've never had 1 out of 2, or And over the years, I've only hatched out 2 clown pies. Each and every season, I just seem to miss them. So hopefully this season, because that's also it's probably one of my favorite combinations. The clown pie. I still have the one female. I call her the queen of the collection, just because I feel it's 2 of the best ball python genes combined into one animal. So just keep on trying, Gavin. That's the only advice I can give you, man. Some double head projects you can't get elsewhere.
Yeah, no, like they say, eventually the odds all even out. So say you've done 100 odd eggs for clown pies, you're gonna next time you end up with 100 clown pies. It's coming.
Well, yes, man. Hopefully it just makes up with something like a clown pie DG. Then it makes up for everything. Then I won't complain. But it goes either direction. Some projects you've got good odds, and other ones you've got not so good odds.
We got a question that came in here from Cole from North Coast Constrictors. As a DJ, what are your thoughts on the Desert Ghost genetic stripe combo? I'm currently working on that with certain incomplete dominant genes.
No, I think it's incredible, I think that's definitely a direction. I was actually I produced double AG stripe DGs a couple of years ago. I think it was 2017. And, I didn't think much of the project back then. So I sold the whole group, and till the day I'm still very spiteful. I sold them. But luckily they were a very good breeder, so I think he's going to do some amazing stuff with them in the future. But, Desert Ghost, genetic stripe, I don't think you can go wrong with anything DG at the time. And even genetic stripe, I think there's loads of potential you can do with it. We've barely seen any actually genetic stripe combos being hatched. Just certain co-dominant mutations in genetic stripe we haven't seen. So I think to see different genetic mutations also with genetic stripe is going to be interesting. So definitely a cool project to work with.
Yeah, the G stripe clown stuff is going to. I think that's going to take off big time. I reckon.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Very awesome project.
But it's like DJ was saying earlier, people mustn't throw codoms away. If you look at a basic combo like a Firefly, if you've got a quality pastel and a fire, you put those 2 genes together at 1,000 grams, that animal at a expo will sell all day long, my friend.
No, I agree. Because like I say, I think there's certain. I've seen it with time and time again. Some you get variations of the genes. You get good expressions, and you get lower expression animals. So I think it's. I don't think necessarily with the ball pythons it's so much line breeding, but still there is some extent of line breeding. If you look. For instance, with yellow belly, you get high expression or different lines, the goblin line, yellow belly, flare. There's different genetics which are very similar, but they're just better expression. So as far as possible, try and work with the best stock, rather pay the extra 200 or 300 or 500 rand or whatever, and get a quality animal and work with that animal.
For sure.
You get much further,
There's a comment that came in from Joe. Supers are just as difficult to produce as recessives. What supers would you like to plug into your recessive projects?
So yeah, like I told you guys, I feel very confident about super vanillas. I'm doing a lot of super vanilla stuff.
You're right there.
What's there more?
I'm still sick.
Shame, man. Yeah, yes. I've also been last week. Yes, it's with the change of seasons. I think everyone has been sick. So, but I think super vanilla, super inchies, anything that doesn't produce a white snake, in my opinion, super gravel. If you do gravel, do super gravel, try as fast as possible. Highways are very cool. They look very great, but in the future, if you want to work forward and do gravel as a good project, try and keep it pure as far as possible. But in general, anything, like I said, that produces, especially if you go into recessive genes, like adding different recessives to super super incomplete dominant or dominant genes, you need to do something that doesn't produce a pure white snake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is there something you wish that you didn't sleep on? The gene?
There is a few, definitely, Desert Ghost. I think like you said, I focused more on the clowns than focusing on the DTs. I feel, with some of the projects, I feel like it came to light, on its time in a sense. There's not really any project. There's a couple of projects I wish I was into at the time, but I think where my collection is at now, I think I'm happy. I think if a couple of years ago I would have said, maybe Desert Ghost, I would have picked up more genetic stripe animals, started working with those projects. There's actually a few different animals. It's very hard to say actually which gene I'd say I slept on in a sense, but definitely also like reproducing your like I said, vanilla and those animals. I actually threw away a lot of those genes and got rid of a lot of single gene animals that I actually could have benefited more in the future by producing new heads. So I think it's just important to look at your collection and see where you want to go into the future and pursue those projects.
But it's funny because with the whole clown Desert Ghost thing, I don't necessarily think people were sleeping on Desert Ghost. It's just clown was just so big when it came out. Everybody was absolutely crazy, and they didn't see anything else. There was all the other recessives were out there, but everybody was just. And I think to a point, it still just is. Clown is probably the recessive to beat.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to especially because if you go onto morph market, the gene that's most, like I said, most widely available is definitely clown. If you compare all of the other genes, clown, head clown, cross-head clown, whatever, there's the most animals in those, in that gene available. So I think clown, just because the amount of amazing combos that's been produced, with clown, I think it's really hard to beat certain clown combos in my opinion. But I feel there's certain genetics that will definitely give clown a run for its money. This goes like Ultramore, those two kind of things.
Let's put it to this way: on the US and Canada morph market right now, visual clowns 3,243.
Yes, I'm sorry. How much is that?
That's just visual clowns. 3,243.
Jeez.
And then pieds are 3,670 visuals, and then hits are like 3,410.
Yeah, it's crazy, eh? It's crazy, eh? It's really crazy, actually, to think that. I think a lot of people don't understand when we talk about ball pythons. It's a different industry, eh? It's once you dive into it, you can't get out, eh? So just be aware of it.
Joe brings up another good sleeper gene there, tri-stripe. I know tri is not massive here yet because there's not a lot of it, but I saw that tri-stripe ultramole Justin's on eggs on his Instagram the other day, and that thing is just unbelievable animal.
Yeah, so one of the new animals I'm going to reveal, I can reveal that. I bought a tri-stripe head Desert Ghost. It should have been a male, but unfortunately it's turned out to be a female. Yes. So it's a bit of a bummer, but long term it's more beneficial for myself. And but that's also going to be on the new video. But I know that David Scorch also is working hard on the tri-stripe project. He's got an incredible collection, probably one of the best also, locally, but he doesn't necessarily work, the projects as hard. He's a very laid back guy, does the projects as they mature on time.
Mm-hmm. Speaking
it's a question that came in from. Go ahead, Kevin.
No, so speaking of your video, you keep saying, when is that going to drop?
In the next 2 weeks. So I've got a couple of videos scheduled for the next 2 weeks. So it just depends on, the order of the videos. But I think it will probably be in the next 2 weeks.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. There's a question that came in from Pulse Pythons. What do you think of South Africa's local new genes, and which one do you think will go far in the industry?
So Striker, I think Striker is probably the best local gene we've got now. I think Striker is going to go very far. I know Rassi and Wally is working very hard on that project. So out of all of the genes I've seen currently that's established, I'd say Striker's got the most potential, and I think it's also drawing the most attention. If I speak to the guys overseas, a lot of them got question about the striker and how it interacts. Is it similar to other genes? So I think in the future, I think Striker is definitely going to make some waves, and there's a couple of other genes. I think Juan Carlet is working with. A few guys have got a couple of interesting projects they trying to prove out what I think is going to be could have some serious potential in the future if the right combos are made.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
What do you think about the rainbow stuff?
It's hard because the thing is they also vary a lot. I've seen dark contrast rainbows. I've seen rainbows that looks very similar to your candies. So I wanted to get into the project at the time, but I've decided, I think if you do a project, you must understand also not a lot of guys are working with it. So it's still a very new project. If you're doing it's going to be hard to come by certain double heads. You'll probably have to make most of your own, double heads and start new recessive projects. But I think, with all of the genes, I don't think there's anything you can go wrong with, with Rainbow, Ultramar, Monarch, Lavender, Albino. Unfortunately, I feel like Albino has had its day, in my opinion, just because there's so many different other albinos, like you get the T+, T-. I just feel there's so much more you can do with other combos, lavender, candy, whatever, the list goes on. And I feel just albinos sometimes tend to remove a lot of the colors away.
I have to bring this one up because this is something that I've had a lot of arguments with people. Not like fight or arguments, but good ones. Super Leopard. Does it exist?
It's probably a very controversial topic just because you can't really ID you can't really ID the super. I believe it. The only way really is to actually do it yourself and breed with an animal, with multiple females, and see if the outcome will produce leopards, And the thing is, I think a lot of the scale the guys breed with as well, they don't really breed a super leopard male to a plain pastel, plain whatever, just to prove out it. They breed it to a multi-gene combo female. And sometimes perhaps they could claim that it's a super leopard, but it could be hard to ID or whatever. So I can't really tell you 100%, but it is possible. However, I can't say, with my own experience, I can't tell you, if there is one or not.
Yeah.
But it's
I saw a clutch of super pinstripe stuff, and I think it was a breeder in Mexico.
Okay.
No, actually, it was David Suarez. He's also got. I think he also hatched out a whole clutch. He's got a super pinstripe female, I believe.
Okay, very nice, eh? Okay, yeah, no, I think it's possible. Like with the ball pythons, we still learn something new every day. I've had a few parthenogenesis clutches over the past few years. But the last season. I actually had a parthenogenesis clutch, and the male that was with the female, she sired one egg. The male sired one egg. So the whole clutch, except one egg, was reproduced by the female, and then the male actually just sired one egg. And I've never seen that before. And it's clear night and day difference. You can see that the male's genes are on the one baby, and that the female reproduced on the other. So it's actually quite interesting to see that the females can do that as well.
Sure. That's crazy. I didn't think that even could happen. I know I've heard of partho clutches, but
Yeah,
that's
but you don't
insane.
hear that often, eh?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you don't, eh?
I think Miguel of Always Evolving had a nice partho clutch.
Yeah, the only thing with
Just
Parfo
nice.
babies, yeah, Miguel's got an awesome collection. Yes, he's got incredible stuff. Yeah, the problem with Parfo clutches in general, the babies I've seen they're either sometimes misformed or they just don't grow as well. They struggle to start feeding, so it's very unfortunate when it happens because majority of the clutch also either the eggs will start going, bad throughout incubation, or then the babies will be deformed or something. Sometimes would be a problem with them.
What is speaking of deformities? What is your opinion on scaleless? Like it? No? Yes?
So Scalar's head, I feel, yeah, Scalar's head, I'd possibly work with, but not in the pure Scalar's form. I like Scalar's corn snakes, but I don't like Scalar's ball pythons and Scalar's bearded dragons. Just because I feel you remove completely, the physical attributes of the snake or the bearded dragon. If you look, Scalar's corn snake still has got the belly scales and it can still move around and roam around like a normal corn snake, But if you take the scales of a ball python, it's completely different. The husbandry is different. It doesn't move the same. So I think just from that aspect, visually they look awesome. They feel amazing, but yeah, I don't think it's a project. Not the full scale. So I don't think I'll ever do.
Okay. I don't want to breed a million of them. I just wouldn't mind one for my collection.
No, I agree. I mean,
just to have.
I think it's awesome to have them. But yeah, like you said, at the time I thought actually it's going to be like a huge pet trade animal in the sense where everyone's going to have a scaleless ball python. But I realized also they're more for advanced keepers. I saw, for instance, some guy, he treated his animals, his collection for mites, I think somewhere in Canada. And basically the scaleless ball python burned his skin, just because he didn't know. It wasn't like he did it on purpose or whatever, but he just didn't knew about it. So I think it's just different in that aspect. You need to know, that there's certain implications with the animal.
Sure.
We got another last question that came in here. What do you think of feeding multis? Have you seen results in the growth?
No, I'm actually against feeding multis. I don't like feeding multis at all. I don't mind feeding them as hatchlings. I feel my hatchlings has got an incredible feeding response. So the hatchlings I can alternate between, rats, multis, even mice. Sometimes it just depends on what I have available, at the time. But my adults, as far as possible, as soon as they reach, I'd say 500 grams, or where where an adult mice is not efficient or sufficient for them, then I start feeding them rats throughout the lifetime. I do feed multis, retired multis now and then, but it's very few. As far as possible, I try to keep them on rats. I think that's the best growth rate. What I've seen is, especially if a multi feeder. If I sell an animal, let's say for instance to you or Gavin, which was a multi-feeder, the chance that it doesn't feed at your guys' side is very high, in my opinion. But with a rat feeder, the animal can still, adapt to its situations quite easier, in my opinion.
I see Jordan of JP Reptiles in Canada. He feeds only multis, and he's posted some animals that it's crazy the way that they're growing. 5-6 months, and the animal is sitting at like a kilogram already.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah,
I don't know if it's really good for the animal, but yeah.
Like it depends. In my opinion, I've got the policy. Like I feed my animals. I try and offer them once a week. sometimes if I do have an extra meal or so, I'll feed them that. But I've just seen with the animals, they grow individually. I've got animals which are 18 months and they're sitting at 2 kgs, and I've got animals at 18 months which are 600, 700 grams. And they're getting fed the same schedule, same day, the same diet. They just grow differently, and I believe, the snake, that's an amazing thing, especially with the snakes. They don't kill the rodents just for the sake of killing. Like if you look at like a jackal or something like that, they're known to go through a herd of animals and slaughter or kill animals just for the sake of killing. But with a snake in general, if they're not hungry, they won't eat. So I feel if they're not hungry, they won't eat. So if I give them a meal and they take it, then it's perfect. So I think it just goes individually with the animals.
Yeah, it's like people. I mean,
DJ, so for anybody that isn't following you already, and I'm pretty sure everybody in our comments and everybody watching knows where to find you, but for people looking to get in touch with you, you're on Morph Market Instagram. I think on your Instagram you've got your link tree up.
Yeah. So basically, the best is on any social media platform. I actually the best way actually now, I'd say, like the quickest way I respond now is either through Morph Market Instagram as well, or then emails. But the WhatsApps with all of the groups you guys know and all of the messages coming in, sometimes it gets lost, unfortunately. I'm completely honest with you. If I see again, there's a message I forgot about or whatever. So I think the best is, especially, if you're interested in an animal or something like that, through Morph Market is the best. And all of my lists are on the link tree, and then the links to my website. You can also go to the website, reptilesforcenturies.com, and all of the information that you need will be, on the website itself.
Okay.
Oh, awesome. And I must say, I love the new logo. That old one, the purple one was how everybody knew Reptiles for Centuries for many years. But this one, I'm really liking this one.
Yeah, I think it's just, like Gavin also said, I'm trying to, like you said, I'm trying to build a brand and also doing, something different. I always say, I want to feel comfortable, if I do shirts or whatever, I want to wear it in public and stuff like that, So I think that to change the logo and stuff like that, just to make it more simpler in a sense and have a bit of a variation as well. It's good to, change. It's good to change also in the future, So maybe in the future, I'll change maybe just the wording or whatever. But I think I'm happy with the new logo and how it came out now.
That looks good.
Cool, thanks guys.
Definitely.
Great.
Sorry, bro.
Speaking to you guys. In the future, we need to make a plan again. Maybe after in the hatching season, you guys need to come through. Gavin and yourself, you need to come through and come check out the hatchlings as they hatch out, and then maybe we can do an on-location podcast or whatever. We can do a video and stuff. Yeah, and I think that would be quite cool as well.
Awesome. We'll snoop around a little bit and open things and show people things that they aren't supposed to see. And how we do it.
Definitely.
DJ, but thank you very much for your time this evening, man. I think everybody in the comments and people that have watched it have definitely taken a lot away from this. I'm sure there's a lot of guys that's going to go back to their collections and you can see the little wheels start turning and from all the information that you shared with them tonight. So it's really great, man. And we wish you the best of everything for the rest of the season. We'll definitely stay in touch on socials and good luck, man.
Good luck on the cloud.
I appreciate it. No, thanks, Gavin, and you likewise on the double heads. I hope you've got better sex ratios this season. And
two females,
guys. Just two females. You just need the extra female, and it's perfect. Right? But Joe, if anyone needs any advice or whatever, I'm just one phone call away. If I don't respond directly, I'll get back to you. But Joe, if you've got any advice or you need any questions, just shoot them over. I'm always open to discussion, man.
Awesome. Cool, DJ. Thanks very much.
Cool, thanks, guys. I do appreciate it. I'll see you guys soon, and enjoy your evening, eh?
Yeah, you too.
Keep well, buddy.
Thanks,
Cheers,
guys.
Abe.
Cheers, man.
Bye.
Cheers, guys.
Here you go. Another one in the bag.
Yeah, now we'll have to see who we can get for next week, and let's hope it's a good one.
Yeah, next week. I actually don't know who we have for next week. I actually need to go look. I did write it down. I just, we will definitely share it on the socials. But I see that Brad is still here. There is a couple of guys that I know. There's a team of guys that would like to join. 2 South African breeders that want to come up on the show together. So yeah, we will we'll let you guys know in the groups and on the socials who we're gonna have next week. But like we always say, if you guys want anybody on the show, just pop us a message or in the comments. Just let us know.
Yeah, drop us, like I said, if you're not in the comments. I mean, there we go. Our stuff is over there.
There we go. Somewhere there.
Send us a message on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, whatever. We'll try to answer or take some advice on who we should get on next. So, yeah. Anyone has any ideas? Let us know. Awesome, Keith.
Yeah, no, I see there. I have been trying to get Dwayne onto it. But I am working on that, so yeah, we'll definitely let you guys know. All right, Gavin. Carl is asking, "Where's his snake?"
Where's the snake? It's sitting in a rack, nice and warm, in a heavy shed with a full belly. So that's what it is.
Here you go, Gavin. But thanks a lot, bud.
Cool. Yeah, dude. We'll speak later.
Yep. Another good one. We'll chat to you soon. Keep well. Cheers, Abe.
Cheers, bye.
Bye. Well, there you go. Another one in the bag. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for joining. Appreciate all the support, all the likes, the subscribes, the comments, the follows. Yeah. As we said, if you guys want to see anybody specific on the show, just leave us a message. We'll get in touch with them. Yeah, it's... if you follow the socials of a lot of people, you'll see it's eggs are starting to come and things like that. So wishing the best to everybody for the rest of the season. And I hope you guys absolutely crush the odds and you get those long shots, those 1 in 128s. Yeah, but from me, thank you very much. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.